Decorah, Iowa is known for many things. The beautiful waterways, the woods, the scenic overlooks, the quaint, homey feel of Main Street, the Eagles. But one factor I think is harshly overlooked is the incredible diversity of cuisine in Decorah. There are over 20 locally owned restaurants and only 5 chain restaurants. Some of the locally owned restaurants around the Decorah area include Coriana, Burl's, and Don Jose's, to name a few. This locally oriented approach to food is quintessential to the economy, and more importantly, the community in Decorah. For now, let's expand our view a bit outside Decorah to focus more on the economics of locally owned business. There are many reasons small restaurants around the country help communities thrive. They spend more revenue on local labor. They tend to also buy locally. The profits stay within the community, and they donate more to charity on average. As far as for the people, your local owners know their clientele. They reward patronage and often offer unique items provided by local artisans. Let's zoom back a bit, returning to Decorah. We were fortunate enough to be granted some interview time with a few owners of popular Decorah destinations. When we asked if we could interview them, they welcomed us in with open arms and a smile. We wanted to get some input on the history behind these shops, and more importantly, we wanted the owners' opinions on what they offered to the community. The stories involved in the history of restaurants give so much depth and a sense of pride to the community. They were too good to simply ignore. The first restaurant we visited was Mabe's Pizza, a local favorite.
Introduce yourself.
My name is Colin White, and I will be the 4th generation owner of Mabe's Pizza.
So, would you mind giving us like a brief history of Mabe's, such as the founders, how long it's been around, etc.?
Well, the founder was my great grandma. Her name was Mabel White. She was called Mabe, so we shortened it down to Mabe's Pizza. In 1953, she opened up a coffee and donut shop, and from there, we had some Italian students that went to Luther, and they came in one day and said, "Can you make us a pizza?" She said, "What is a pizza?" So she let them go back there. They made a pizza for her. And from there, she started making her own dough and making her own sauce, which we still use today. We make our own dough and our own sauce. Our first location was up by the college at the intersection of Locust Road and College Drive by Casey's. There's currently a chiropractic office right there. And from there, we moved across from the Vesterheim Museum. In '76, we had a fire, and we relocated to this current location. We've been here since 1978. From there, my grandpa and grandma worked here and owned it. Now my parents own it currently. They have had it for 17 years, and I plan to take over for the next 5 years.
The second restaurant we visited was Ruby's, a Scandinavian-style diner famous for their rolls.
I am Joe Olson, Harry Olson's wife, for owners of the restaurant.
So, would you mind giving us a brief history of Ruby's and, like the founders and how long it's been around, etc.?
Okay, in 1968, my husband Harry Olson and his mother Ruby Olson started the restaurant, and have been here ever since. She passed away 32 years ago about, and just kept it going.
Okay. What would you say this business offers to the community?
Well, this is the only Norwegian restaurant left, and everything is homemade here. Our breads are homemade. We have the trademark Ronnie roll, the cinnamon roll, and that was voted number 1 in the state of Iowa many times. And our pancakes are homemade. Everything is fresh. Some of it's local sourced. Some of it's organic. Not all of it, though. My oldest stepson, Scott Olson, has worked here his whole life, and he's my head chef, and he's phenomenal.
Chain restaurants, you have no personal connection to customers. Here, you come in, you pick up a pizza. Odds are I'm going to know your name. I'm already going to have your pizza on the counter waiting for you. And if I don't know your name, I'm going to get to know you. It's that type of personal interaction that you're going to get in a small town, whether it be a restaurant, a convenience store, grocery store, any type of business in a small town. It's that personal connection you're going to have with people around your community to build up the town's togetherness, I'll call it right now. I mean, we're a close-knit community. It's the town of Decorah, population 8,000. You guys know that. Change do it right here, but definitely the local businesses strive.
All right. So, if you were to say anything to young people who were thinking of pursuing a future in local business or restaurants, what would you say to them?
I would definitely encourage them to either start their own business or take over existing business, whether it be family business, or if you have a job somewhere and you feel like the owner is getting on in years and they're getting tired of it, you want to take over it, go right ahead. It's a thing that keeps the town alive. It's a great way to interact with the community. It's a great way to get to know people, and I encourage it definitely.
Have your heart in it, because the first few years you're not going to make that much money. But if you have your heart in it and you want to work hard and you do the right business moves and and you have the community support, I think you'll make it. But it doesn't happen overnight.
What would you say your favorite dish is?
Oh, my favorite dish. Oh, come on, guys. You got the
I know it's a hard question.
You got the homemade chicken pot pie. You got the crab cakes Benedict, the stuffed French toast, and all the fillings are homemade. Oh,
I go in different spurts. There's pizza days, so the around the garden are the regular, and there's pasta days where I love the lasagna. There's sandwich days where I'm a Philly cheesesteak sandwich kind of guy, and if there's a salad in there, I get the chicken bacon salad.
stuffed French toast.
We visited several of the chain restaurants in Decorah. You know, the familiar ones, McDonald's, Culver's, and Pizza Hut. When we asked to film inside, they said no, and denied access to any sort of interviews. It was certainly a different vibe. They don't really interact with their customer base, and just want to do their jobs and go home. As you can tell, the local diversity of foods in Decorah is rather incredible for a town this small. It's certainly a step in the right direction for supporting the local economy and community. So the next time you eat out, instead of getting the same old nuggets at McDonald's, why not sink your teeth into something with a little more Decorah in it?